Astorga and Pure Pleasure, Bring Me Back. Song written by Mr. Michael Anthony and also co-produced. Talk to me about working with Pure Pleasure. Are they legit? Is Michael Astorga legit when it comes to his vocals?
Oh, yeah, he can sing. I mean, definitely, he can sing. You know, he has a very unique voice. So, yeah, and they're fun. They're fun, too, man. I remember they used to have a lot of fun. I mean, South Jersey and Philly, that whole area, I mean, they used to run that.
Yeah.
You know, and Tasmania was huge back then.
Yeah.
And, yeah,
they brought freestyle back and then proceeded to kill it. But that's not their fault. They had contracts, so they had like 15, 16 albums they dropped. And out of the 15, 16 albums,
now. Oh, okay.
Whatever, they had Series A+, B-, whatever it was that they had. And one of these days I'll get Anthony Ponzio and some of the Tasmania folks back here to...
That's crazy.
But, they had contracts and they wanted to churn out freestyle. And unfortunately, they saturated with a lot of bad stuff because the first 4 compilations on Hot Productions, it was more good than bad, you know? Even though they never put Lorenzo Delon on one of the Tasmania compilations, I will never get it. They put it on Tango, which is a subsidiary of Tasmania, but who cared about that one? That was a horrible compilation. That was the only good song on there. But, the point is that, Tasmania ruled the world when they came into the scene, and they had Pure Pleasure. They put Willie's One Sort of Affair on there, Sammy C, Miguel Reyes Jr., Samantha. Oh, my God, everybody loves Samantha. Yeah. So... They did a great service, and then they took it right back. And you know what I mean?
I have no comment on that. But
I can't comment because I purchased every single compilation. I'm a consumer, so I can say whatever I want. And if anybody wants to, debate me from Tasmania.
Me, I'm outspoken. I'm just going to kind of...
No, it's understandable because, Tasmania was they were a great part of our music, too. But we always thought that artistic country was New England. So why did you feel that artistic was the best?
Why did we feel? Me personally, I just felt like we had the best vocalists out there. Like, still to this day, there was a time, and it's funny because we've always talked about doing an old school, new school album.
Right.
And like artist to artist. And like, doing like a George Lamont, George Anthony, like Marisol with any other female artist out there, myself or whatever. And it just kind of never happened. And it's funny because one of the albums, we did a message. Like we had a lot of artists call in.
Yes, it was like an homage to the Metro message.
Yeah, it was great, and because a lot of the old school artists remember Willie and myself, and really Willie. Because Willie was still doing it. I was pursuing an R&B thing at the time and trying to pursue other things. And Willie really stuck with it and really kept it alive. So it was kind of awesome to have all those people. But like Little Susie calling in, George and everyone.
Nyasia.
Yeah, Nyasia. And I was listening to it the other day and I was just like, wow, I don't remember all that. But it's kind of cool to kind of look back and see what we accomplished.
So if everybody has Freestyle Parade Volume Number 2, you skip to the message at the end, which is an homage to the Metro message, but much more fun because it had also not only did it have artists, but it had fans as well.
Absolutely,
and that was nice. It was a great concept. Freestyle Parade Volume Number 2 is my favorite compilation of all time. When it comes to freestyle, it has Marisol on there. It has Michael Anthony's "If This Is Love." It has just Lorenzo Delon, vocal images in there. Stephanie Marie. Just a lot of George Anthony, Willie Valentine's in there, no matter what. I mean, it's just a great compilation. It's just, there's no fillers. It's just a great CD. And I remember getting a copy of it and just putting it in my Walkman and just listening to it while I slept all night. I woke up with the mark of the headphones on my face.
Yeah.
Because I loved that album so much.
We slept, I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, we wouldn't sleep certain nights. I mean, we were sleeping in the studio. I mean, I know George was here one week and he was talking about sleeping in the studio. I remember when Naya and him were recording Take Me Away, I was there with them. And actually, we used to hang out a lot. And that's what Freestyle Parade was like. We would just go in the studio, have all of us, and just do our thing and just see what comes out the next morning. And hopefully it was good. We were just scratching and clawing for anything,
So what's next for you? What are you going to be doing?
I took some time off. We had pursued a group at one point. Julio Mena was in the group at one point. He was like in the second facade, which is great. We did a lot of great things with that.
You guys were featured on MTV.
Yeah.
I saw you, Julio, on MTV. You were in Florida, by the way, right? Or California?
That was in San Diego.
So you're in California,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and they had a competition, and it was before American Idol, and before they even thought of the concept.
Absolutely.
And
TRL.
TRL, yes, and then I love the fact that you guys moved on to the next round, and then
Yeah.
you guys made it 3 rounds, correct?
Yeah, made it 3 rounds. We were top 6, and we just kind of chose the wrong song going up there. And groups are hard. Groups are hard. I've always been that kind of support person. Never really felt comfortable, like I said before, just kind of what my niche was and what I was doing. My first group that I was in, even before Roundaway, when I was signed to Atlantic, was it's so funny because like I go on the internet, and if you were to Google Around the Way, like Japan went crazy for that record, and like still to this day I get emails saying, oh, if you could come here and do a classic night with that song, it would be great.
And Nyasha was part of that group.
No, actually Lena from Solid, the group
Lena
Solid,
from
Loving
Solid,
You,
yes,
who sang Loving You. She was a Micmac. Andy Panda, Sal Batello had the fever.
Right now, when I said that, Angel Mena's like, no, stupid.
Yeah.
It was Lena from Solid.
Yeah, so this is how way back we go, Willie and I. And Andy and Sal Batello, they were coming out of that freestyle genre. At the time, I was in another group that they were working with. They thought it'd be kind of cool, kind of this Black Eyed Peas kind of fusion thing we were working on. And we had this record called Really Into You that was, on radio. It was probably one of the first records they played in the new Hot 97 format.
Right.
Because that's when it was switching over.
Yeah.
And, so that's what I was doing at the time and trying to find myself. And, Willie was putting out, we did One True Love Affair on the other, that came out. And Nyasha came out kind of the same time. So that's kind of like what...
It's a great history, though. It's like good 20, 25 years of just great history and great friendship, because you guys have been friends since you were 4.
Yeah.
And the way you find artists is ridiculous. Find George Anthony singing in his bathroom, and
Yeah.
Willie's downstairs listening to him.
Yeah.
You come to New England, Willie comes to New England, and
by the way, I want to correct that story, and George can correct it. I went upstairs.
oh,
All
okay.
right? So Willie, I heard you in the interview. George is going to say whatever he wants to say, at the time, because Willie's there. I wasn't there. But actually, I was the one who went upstairs and knocked on the door and said, hey, listen, Juan, what's up? His brother, his big brother. Because we used to play baseball together. So we all grew up in the same neighborhood. So it was kind of, it was kind of interesting. But we'll see if we can correct that.
Would you like to see another freestyle parade, like a reunion 20-year type?
I've been begging for that for the last year and a half. I've been on Willie. Like, Willie, we got to do a freestyle parade. Some of the concepts that we've been coming up with. I know it's on Willie's radar right now. I'm hoping that we can get it done and introduce some new artists as well. Maybe a different feel. But, I'm hoping that's in the works. We got to do it this year, Year's running out, Willie, so we got to knock this out.
Yeah, it's the 20th anniversary.
Absolutely.
The one who started it all was Lorenzo Delon.
Yeah.
And, I'm proud to announce that on Friday, June 5th, we're going to have Freestyle Fridays live.
Okay.
And performing live will be Lorenzo Delon.
Wow.
We'll be celebrating the 20-year anniversary of his song, Don't Turn Our Love Away. Mm-hmm. And I'm very happy about that, because we were the first ones to put an artistic concert together here in Massachusetts. It didn't pan out the way that we wanted to, but it was my first outing promoting a show, and we had the entire artistic crew there. I remember you were there. Lorenzo was there. Mm-hmm. Janine was there.
Wow.
Nyasha kicked me out, and she started hosting with George. Freddie the Edit was there.
Yeah.
Willie.
Well, we can't forget about Freddie the Edit. Man.
Yeah, LD Ross. Yeah, wow. Freddie the Edit Rivera is amazing. He's always been that amazing support. The guy in the backgrounds who edits stuff for Artistic. The artistic editor, multi-editor.
We did a lot of Freestyle Parade 1 with Fred in his house, actually, between Willie's studio and Fred's studio. So, I remember I did a record called Treat Me Right on that album. So
yes,
real
Reveal.
Different.
Yes.
Real different. And
excellent.
We just wanted to do something different, and and Fred did that. And he was a big part of, the beginning of a Freestyle Parade.
So, who do you want to see come back for Freestyle Parade 20 years later?
Well, definitely, I know George Anthony's going to be on it. Willie will be on it. I don't know if Marisol will happen. Cynthia's definitely going to be on it. I don't know. I'd like to see maybe Angel and Julio and maybe Fred get together on a track.
Yeah, they could get on a track if Angel records his vocals at his studio, Julio records his vocals at his studio, and Fred records his vocals. Just get 3 separate studios to get one vocal image track.
Some of the knuckleheads, those guys, right?
Gotta love them.
Yes, there's a lot of artists that we would probably like to work with and bring some new artists in the mix. Do some interludes and some cool stuff. have fun with it, and then take it to a different level. That's pretty much what it's all about.
What about your writing? Are you going to continue writing? I know that your juices are flowing now when it comes to writing.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think I'm at the point, kids, family, job, and all that good stuff. I'm getting the itch again to kind of start writing again. I know I did a couple of things. We did Summer Love. Summer Love actually with George Anthony was written a long time ago. With
Yes,
2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Canada.
Yes.
Victor Franco and myself actually wrote that. We originally wrote it for George Lamond, and it just never panned out. We never got it to him. I think I would probably want to get back into that. I find I struggle with writing lyrics now. I could probably bang out like 10 songs right now, melody-wise, but writing lyrics, I kind of struggle with that. So, it's going to be a process. But yeah, I mean, I got something in the works for George right now. I got a song, Catch 22, that I wrote for Cynthia. She hasn't heard it yet, but I know she's going to love it. So yeah, it's on the radar.
It's been an honor to just sit here with you and for this last hour and just go over some of your body of work. I mean, if we were to, have 3 more hours, we would just continue just all the songs you've written, all the grooves that you've been part of.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy that you came and you chose me to, go back in time and just let people know, the writers are underappreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And the body of work that you've paid for a lot of people, you started some people's careers, Pose, Naija, a lot of folks that owe you a lot of favors.
Yeah, well, I don't expect anything from them, but yeah, I mean, as being a writer and a singer as well, you just got to pay your dues, and sometimes, the writers really don't get the credit. I mean, that's not what this was really all about, but it was more about, we're going to be doing artistic, definitely be doing a compilation, and we thought it was time for, at least me to come back and just kind of talk a little bit about just the genre as a whole, and just kind of the history of just what we went through, but more importantly, just the history and what we contribute to freestyle.
So, Michael